Hello again, and welcome back to another critical look at a facet of the hottest FPS on the block, and that's Overwatch. Last time I looked at Overwatch, I talked about what I saw as some of the problems with Mercy, and many of you responded positively to the points made and some of the solutions offered. So thanks to all of you for being so cool and letting me know what you thought. But today we turn our gaze towards another of the support characters, and that's Lucio. I've played what might be described as a near pathological amount of Lucio, 60 plus hours and counting. He's by far my most played hero, and I think, on the whole, and in the current meta, he's an almost essential pick for most teams. The passive heal he provides does so much to the overall lifespan of his teammates that only for times when you have, say, multiple tanks does Ana start to look like a decent alternative. In the last patch, Lucio's speed boost took a sizable nerf. It was actually reduced by 30%. And as a player, I was a little surprised when I read that in the patch notes, thanks to Lucio's speed increase, he was almost a must pick in every lineup. This seems odd for a number of reasons. His healing is arguably active 90% of the time Lucio is alive. Speed's really only used for like initial dash on control point maps or to start a push. Just think about it. How many times have you heard a teammate say, "Let's take a Lucio, we need the speed boost"? This got me thinking about the tone and direction of those justification lines that you find in the Overwatch patch notes. Now don't get me wrong, I love the fact that the developers are open enough to put the thinking behind the changes on show. It certainly shows confidence and admirable transparency. But when reading them through, it's tough not to draw some conclusions about how the balance is being decided. But let's pull things back for a minute. Lucio is essentially a health lighthouse. Keep your teammates in range and in line of sight, and you'll deliver those healing beats. When someone needs more healing and your cooldown isn't active, press E for more healing. Rinse and repeat. Your primary tool in maximizing your healing to your teammates is positioning. You just stay close to them. And here is where I have a problem with Lucio. That healing gameplay I just described isn't very fun. There's not a whole lot you can do to maximize the healing you provide to your team. It's mostly passive. Spotting a mediocre Lucio from a good one is a tough job. I'm not saying Lucio is an entirely passive role, just that your ability to impact his main healing is so limited. But also let's not claim that playing Lucio is so occupied with other stuff that there's no time to manage more involved healing mechanics. What I'd suggest doing is first of all dropping Lucio's passive healing by 20%, quite a lot. Then I propose a new way for Lucio players to impact how effective they are at healing. Give you a way to boost that passive healing by up to 40%. Poor Lucio players would still deal an amount of healing, but engaged players who worked hard in-game will supercharge his healing and benefit their teams. I propose a new system called Hype. The more damage you deal, the higher your Hype level, ideally on a scale of 0 to over 9,000, and therefore the more healing you do. It'd work a lot like Zarya's energy mechanic, but linked to damage dealt. This is also good for making players trade from being super passive and out of danger for dealing damage and boosting their healing impact. There's a reason and a reward for taking that risk. This would also raise the skill ceiling for playing Lucio without completely throwing out the current system. This should work on all damage dealt, so things like helping take down a Reinhardt or Winston shield would also boost your hype levels. Lucio's damage may be limited, but along with other team members, that damage can make the difference. Especially with this new system, it would also help their healing rates too. There's a reason to stay active. And I wouldn't really even mind if the same changes were adopted to the speed boost as well. But let's go back to the patch notes. It's the Lucio speed justification line that made me wonder about how balanced is discussed in Blizzard. How much time is given to ensuring that the resultant changes are actually enjoyable just compared to how much impact they have on the game. People in a competitive environment will play characters due to their ability, but to balance the game entirely on a hero's impact or popularity doesn't address the actual experience of playing them. So let's think of an extreme example. Imagine a brand new hero. They heal teammates across the whole map every time you press E inside the spawn room. Just imagine how many competitive teams would pick that hero. I'm guessing all of them. That's a ridiculously powerful ability. So if you looked at the stats, that new hero would look very popular indeed. Maybe the person playing them would feel like they're even helping the team. But let's not imagine that standing in the spawn room pressing E is enjoyable gameplay. When the inevitable nerf happens to that hero, what are players left with? Confusing impact and ability with gameplay undermines the enjoyment of playing the game. Adding depth and feedback can result in a much more rewarding and fulfilling experience for everyone. But maybe you completely disagree. Maybe you think Lucio is in a perfect position right now. Or maybe you thought of other changes you'd like to see made to support roles to make them more interesting to play. Let me know your thoughts and feedback in the comments. If you liked the video, why not thumb that thumb up button, and perhaps even consider the subscribe button too. It helps me out a lot. Thanks very much for watching this video. It's my first for a while, so I appreciate you watching just a smidgen more than normal. If you want to follow me on Twitter and hear me complain about things in the same accent, but purely in text, I'm at LCTRGames. There's a link in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.